Hi everyone, my name is Felipe. I'm from HubSpot, and today we're going to talk about a really interesting topic, HubSpot powered by TensorFlow. So let's dig a little into this. First of all, we're going to talk about what is TensorFlow, what we can do with this framework, and later we're going to work with a specific feature of TensorFlow, an image recognition model. We're going to use a dataset, create a model, and use this model to solve a business problem of our fictional company, Tensor's Cloud Repair. And later, we're going to show you how you can power your HubSpot account using our image recognition model that you create on TensorFlow. First, what is TensorFlow? It's an open source machine learning framework created by Google, so you can trust on this one, right? You can build and deploy machine learning models like some image and speech recognition, natural language processing, predictive analytics, and lead scoring, and so many others. Today, we are going to only scratch a surface of what can you do with this framework, but it's going to be really helpful for you. Now, I'm going to introduce you Tensor's Cloud case. Okay, Tensor's Cloud Repair addresses the issue of the excessive clothing waste by promoting the repair of garments. They pick up the product from your home and return it improved by an artist. So you're saving the world and you get the better outfit. So it's a win-win. They want to develop a tool that automates the identification of clothing types from photos. Okay, what's the problem with this? They work with dress, sneakers, pullover, trouser, different kind of clothes. And they have different kind of warehouse with different kind of artists that repairs the clothes. So now they have a form on their HubSpot account where you put the information. I'm going to use mine, my address, and then you attach your clothes. In this case, I'm going to repair my bag. And they have this field. They ask to the client to fill this and say which kind of cloth. Some clients can make a mistake or maybe they just don't want to fill that form. And this is making so very headache to the team that works on the warehouse because they pick up a product, they have the product to their warehouse, and they notice that it's a shoe and it's in the warehouse of the artist that work with dresses. So it's a huge problem for them and they want to solve it because they hear about the image recognition models. So that's the reason why we are here. I fill this form, so I attach the file, I put my address, everything information, and some condition, almost perfect. For this example, you'll know this is the main form of the company. That's why they having problems. And we're going to solve this using TensorFlow. So we're going to create our model using TensorFlow and Keras. These two frameworks are a really powerful tool for us to create this. Okay, so the objective is create a model to predict clothing types from the image. The frameworks are going to be TensorFlow and Keras, and we are going to use a database called Fashion MNST. We're going to make a step in here. So we're going to talk about datasets. The datasets are a collection of images, text, or other data used for training models. For this example, we're going to work with images. Our dataset is the current fashion dataset that includes 60,000 training images and 10,000 test images that are categorized on 10 different clothing types. Okay. By now, our model is going to use these 60,000 training images, create a model, and make your guess on these 10,000 test images, classifying with one of these clothing types. I'm going to show you more about this later on the code. Some things that you may know or you have to know is that the proper tagging of this is essential for creating a model. So we can take the 70,000 pictures and label it. It's a lot of work, but someone already did this work, and we are going to use this for this case. So we're going to work with Google Colab. This is a little spoiler of what we're going to do, but you can see this is an example of a sneaker or how the model is seeing the image or how it's going to make his best guess. Okay, now we're going to collab. I already run this code. I'm going to share this on the presentation, so don't worry, you can dig a little more into this later. First, well, I'm going to tell we're going to, in this part, we're going to install our all dependencies, and also we're going to import TensorFlow and Keras and other libraries like Melfi, MATLAB that help us on the math. Second part, in this part, we are going to download the dataset, and you can see this is the tags or the clothing types. So we already done the download of the images, and this part is the fun part. Here is where you train the model. We don't have to talk more about this, but you can change the number of the layers. You can change the time of epochs to train your model and test this. Now we're going to run it so you can see a little more how much time it's going to use. This part, we are creating the model using the data set, and the model is going to tell us how accuracy is this. So by the first iteration, it's about 80%. This means that for each 100 guess that you gave to this model, it's going to be right 80 times. But the model is still improving and making our best guess, and we're going to see how much accurate is our model. And you can see about this part, we use the dataset that it's already in the cloud. We run this code, so we train the model with images. This part, you can change it, you can improve it later, but by this example, it's acceptable for using, okay? And it ends, and the test accuracy, it's about 88%. So per each 100 images, it's going to be right 88 times. The next part is only to show you we're going to run the same model. We're going to enable this on TensorFlow server, and you can later have some output like this. So this is an example of how the model is seeing address on the label of this. If we run this again, we're going to see another address and example. And later, maybe this is how the model is going to make the guess. So later, we're going to put an image, and then it's going to say, this model thought this was an ankle boot, the class 9, and actually was an ankle boot, the class 9. So it's right. This time the pullover is right too, and later the trouser is right too. By this moment, you may maybe think, how can I stick this to HubSpot? How can I use this into HubSpot? So don't have to worry, this is the fun part, and we're going to show you how you can use this model that we already have and we already create to power our forms. And I'll show you something. We already did this, and you can see we have a new deal, new repair for Felipe, and identified that I attached a bag. How I did this? First of all this code, all the training model, I already run it on my laptop, and you can see this. I have my Visual Studio Code. The additional work was create an endpoint so I can ask to this model on a webhook which kind of cloud it's the image that we attach to the HubSpot form. So the main part is just set properly this Hub's execution state on the server's response. So we create an endpoint, and we're going to use it on a HubSpot workflow. Now we go to our workflow. This is the workflow. It's really simple at first. So any submission of the form, it's going to trigger the next part. Send a webhook. In here, I have the URL of my webhook. The authentication tab is not necessary for this case. I attach the URL that is the cloud URL that the person filled on our form, this file. So we can test an action. I'm going to use this back picture. So it's a URL, test it. And here we have the response. It's a bag, and we have the property on HubSpot server response. So we save this part. So as you can see, I fill the form, then later it's sent a post on this webhook, and later it's more simple. In this part, we already are going to use the HubSpot server response, and we are going to save it on Cloud API response. So we can use it on this last part, that is the property assignment to each warehouse, so the artists have the proper clothes to repair. So you can see this is the warehouse that repair t-shirt, trouser, pullover, dress, coat, sandals, and shirts, and else. So that's how we set up our model. We enable this model, save it, put it on an endpoint, and use HubSpot webhooks. So we improve our workflows, and maybe we can erase this so the form have less fields. To end this presentation, well, we already talked about this. So integrating into HubSpot, this is the structure of the workflow, the form submission, the webhook, how we format the data and copy to a business property, and the branch. Finally, what's next? Well, this is just a start. We just scratch the surface of what you can do with TensorFlow. And I think that the first is what's next is improve this model. This company needs to improve this model, use more image, maybe finding another data sets that it's more accurate for them. They need to do some proofs and enable this. Okay, so this is not like copy and paste some strategy at this level, but you have a lot of tools to make this easier. And other idea, new development. You can imagine that later we can add another machine learning model. Maybe we can make that this model tell us more about the clothes, the material of the clothes. Okay. Also, we can evaluate the condition of a product. Okay, it's more powerful tool if we have more information because we already have the image. So we can say to our model, tell me this is a bag, the material is this, and the condition is the product, it's almost perfect. That's the kind of information that we want to do, and it's just a start. So we encourage you to start trying to use machine learning models, using another technologies to power your HubSpot account and make better results. So that's all for today.